Good evening, guys. This is we normally don't conduct the show this late into the evening, but today it's a special episode. It's a lunch break extended version. So today we're just going to be looking at the Premier League, what happened on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then my guest will just have to say an overall view about what he has seen. We are into match day 6 into the Premier League, yeah, and then he'll get to share with us who are his favorites, what should we look out for, and any surprises that we should expect in the coming games. So, as always, Mcho, introduce yourself, and then we do like we always do.
Yeah, thanks, man. Hi, everyone out there who's listening and watching this dope show hosted by Tabang. Uh, Today, we're just going to talk about sports EPL to be definite. Yeah.
So let's start with the first game that we saw that kick-started the week. It was Aston Villa and Leeds United. I know you are a very big fan of Leeds United. I think or I saw you doing the commentary after the first game that they played with Liverpool, and you were saying it's going to be a very difficult campaign for them, looking at the fact that Horba Basimulise with a tough game against Liverpool, and you were quite impressed. So they won against Aston Villa, a team that we've been praising. It's always a Liverpool 7, and now all of a sudden, Ijewa Leeds United. So any thoughts about that game?
Yeah, that game, like, you wouldn't expect Aston Villa to have conceded 3 goals, having had the best defense in the team. I think they've only been scored 2 or 3 goals right there. Yeah. So when they were against Leeds, I didn't expect that much. I actually thought it would be just a 1-1 type of game, but things changed. Leeds was when it came to the offense, they were really showing that they had a mission. When you look at how Harrison and Costa were going forward, and like to when the game ended, the difference when it came to the sprinting and all that, they were saying that there were 223 sprints against 150 sprints from Austin Villa side. And you could see that these guys, they were on another level. The same passion and intensity that we witnessed with the first game with against Liverpool. That's
Liverpool,
what
yeah.
we saw. Yeah, that's what I saw, and I was like, damn. Even the guy, Bamford, yeah, the striker. I didn't even expect that from him, though I knew that he could score. But him being able to score 3 against a team that was known not to easily concede goals, it was something. It was kind of like a shock.
But then, looking at how the Premier League has been at the moment, I think in terms of the consistency of certain teams, can we honestly say Aston Villa are worthy contenders, or they've started well? As the league progresses, they will go back to their normal number 10.
I think like they will be part of the first 10, and like Austin Villa is just a good team that's going to give competition to the top 6. That's one thing that we should know. They might have been knocked out by Leeds, but one thing I know is that they're going to try to fix the issue that they have had with their defense this past Friday. We're going to see something different on their next game. And then with the Leeds is still going to cause heartbreaks. especially for the top 10 teams. That one for sure. That's what they're going to do. They might have been knocked out by Liverpool and all that, but they are showing that they have intentions. If they don't get to experience injuries and the critical players not going through suspensions, the yellow cards and all that, I think they're going to have a good run. May next year they'll still be part of this league. Yeah.
Okay. And then we move on to Saturday. Saturday it was West Ham versus Man City, Fulham versus Crystal Palace, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool versus Sheffield. I think it's something that we've seen happening at the moment. The big four or the big six, they are really struggling to I don't know, to find the form. Should we be worried to say Everton can now ascend to the throne? These teams are struggling, or will they bounce back like we know they would?
Nah. I think it now it's on Everton, Aston Villa, and Leeds to separate themselves from the big men and become big teams. Because if you look at it, you'll find that the normal top four teams, they're frailing and they are not that consistent. And if teams are experiencing that, like they are that weak, it shows that it's an opportunity for the unknown teams, and we're going to end up having the 2015-2016 season where Leicester City just came out of nowhere and they had the league. And I would I would say if these teams are not serious in trying to prepare themselves after this setbacks and all that, we're gonna find this other small teams being the champions or contenders of the league this season.
Yeah. With Man City, I think with the start of the league, there was not quite a lot of players who were unfit. Some by are still even missing the injury up to now. In terms of what's happening at Man City now, Hakiz, from your side, what can you say? It's going on. Lebona, they've been not so consistent. They've scored.
Yeah,
They're not scoring like we usually know them to.
I think like when it comes to Man City, one thing I've just noted is that they are just inconsistent. You would expect Sergio Aguero to be scoring week in, week out, but he had a hard time. I think he even had an injury
Yeah.
this past game. And like the only person who has brought some difference and like he's trying his best, the young guy, Foden, because he might even manage to score on that game on the second half. And like it seems like teams this weekend, half of them were surviving through no, the big ones that we are aware of, we are known to be dangerous. They had like they scored through their super sub. Foreign scored over the weekend, and then on Sunday, Vardy out of nowhere, bang, surprised, like he was doing whatever he often does against Arsenal. So yeah, like Man City, like it will take it will have to take something that is really convincing for them to like to get back to let me just say that they really need motivation. And I just find it that these guys they have everything that each team on the EPL would want to have. Like they have big names and like they are not doing as expected. So like these teams they are not that consistent, and if they keep on like being like that, small teams will take that cake and end up as champions.
And then we saw, I think it was the game of the weekend, Man United versus Chelsea, go Old Trafford. A game that honestly, having watched that game, I think it was a very dark game. We had expected fireworks, we had expected goals. The teams were more tactical, and even moving forward, there wasn't that much creativity. We both now were at Chelsea versus Man United.
I don't want to lie. From my side, I would say I expected Menu to run away with this one because of how they have managed to get a win from Paris. So like, if they like Menu, half of the time it's that team that get motivated by winning in places where you didn't expect, and after that they try to give you 4 or 3 games winning streak, and like people be excited, then you go back to zero. So I expected them to have won the Chelsea game and probably the next two ones before they push you back, you push you guys to the unhappiness atmosphere. So knowing Chelsea that they weren't a threat, because like Bonabadumela more defensive and the creative players haven't been able to find that winning mentality or being able to sync well with the EPL way of doing things. So that's when it was for Menu. That's how I took it. And when it became a draw, like, it's just one of those games.
And then off air, we are talking about how a lot of people have been saying already there's a bit of inconsistency in terms of how VAR is being used. It's been used to profit certain teams. And there was that incident in that game, Yaha Maguire
Mm.
was that a penalty?
Uh, that part, like I didn't actually watch it, so like I wouldn't want to talk about it. I would like, but going forward, VAR it's not being up to the standard that we expected it to be. I don't know, like they are not using it accordingly. Now, that's where the problem is. We actually thought that bringing something that is in line with computing, it will make things easier when it comes to like referee decisions and all that, but that's not what we are getting. And it also shows that referees still have the authority over the game, which is also a good thing, though it's not a good thing when decisions are not made accordingly, when we even have something that can be used to substantiate the evidence when it comes to this decision making. And
But then
then yeah.
with VAR, the introduction, I think, in Ilohoring wasn't the idea behind the introduction. Ilohori, it would try and, as much as possible, remove that human error aspect to it. But then, how do you
it's
then
it's hard.
how do you tell the referee, or go to the monitor and see?
I think it's hard to think that human error wouldn't be prevalent when it comes to these things, because already the referee is human and he has to consult to the VAR system first, and he can decide otherwise, even if he gets to see, because like the issue is the human getting to process whatever they've been given to conclude. The VAR doesn't conclude for decisions. The referee is the one who decides. Even before they even like put that decision, they have like they consult first with the referee. It shows you the whole system. Despite that, I think uh, it is brought to bring intensity in football. And like I don't want to lie, there is an excitement in like Hojabediwa or Howina. Like Like
Yeah.
that's how like human beings
No,
we
I think you are right. That's that element of surprise, that element of discussion that follows after. VAR has taken that away from us as football supporters. Now, see double checked and whatnot. Can I go
mare,
really? I want that excitement. You
mare,
what?
yeah, mare, we haven't lost that thing. It's just that people expected that decisions wouldn't be wrong, and I don't think it's right for us to expect that, especially when the human being is involved when it comes to the decision part. So hella, we're still gonna have this type of things where the VAR wasn't used accordingly, and it's still we still have the same feeling that we used to have when VAR wasn't there, you know. But it's good that
No.
it's good that it's there, but still we still have because like human beings are involved. That's what I'm saying. Because
But like I said, it's either that excitement. Oneana, if someone would score like a controversial goal, um, before VR was introduced, you would celebrate knowing what it's a goal. Referee usupile at the center line each hand. But now, what happens? We pause for a few minutes to see if they're going to show that line and whatnot. It's
okay,
taken that excitement from us, though.
nah. Here's the thing, man.
Mm.
With VAR, it shows that the lineman and the referee they still have authority. Here's the thing: if you were to watch the Arsenal game
Yeah,
where Lacazette flicked a ball
yeah.
to the goalpost, and it appeared that someone touched the ball, and they were saying that that guy was offside. Mare mene go sena bolo e tshwerwe. And people are still
No,
questioning.
no, one I hear
Eh,
the point wasn't contact with the ball. The reasoning behind that goal being disallowed,
eh,
Khati, was it? I don't know if
mm,
it was Mustafi. Khati, he was
mm,
impeding the sight. Yeah, yeah,
mm,
Peter Michael. So that's why the
mm,
goal was ruled out. Because if you watch it slowly, it doesn't seem or I don't know if it was Obama Young at the far end. It doesn't seem or the review was that Mustafi was in
le go na le
front of.
obstruction.
Yeah,
Like there was an obstruction.
yeah.
Uh, I'll have to go back and see to conclude that. But from what I was
Mm,
getting, or like so many people were asking a lot of questions, or how did that not be? How did it become a disallowed goal? Because like
yeah.
it didn't even touch anyone on the line, and then the is the impression that I'm getting because like remember that those guys in the Balika was saying and the lineman was saying was the one on a racer flag, right?
Yeah,
If
it's
you
a
recall.
questionable. Yeah, it's a questionable decision. But overall, having looked at the incident, I think for me, I'd say it wasn't. The goal should have stood for me.
That's why I'm saying that you get to realize kana sometimes football is nice when there is controversy. Like human beings get excited to controversy, like
Yeah,
controversial decisions. You today you can win a league, Leneli Theater, next year, Hali winning league, and like you know, it's that's how football is. Like you end up and you have to experience both sides. Well, it's and you realize that
yeah,
this is how people actually feel. Because when France qualified for game 2010,
yeah. The World
ka
Cup.
bolo ya ya let's all. And I don't want to lie. Like now, I was excited as a France supporter for like to find a team, yeah, or even line 88, because that's how football is. Like there's a moment where like people end up cheering and they win, and there are so many moments more football on go Champions League at any high level setup. Uh, there was that scenario, and like I don't want to lie, I get to appreciate it as a football fan. I don't know about other people, like, maybe it's because like I've come to terms where Arsenal has been cheated for a while when it comes to some of these things. And like you get used to it. And then hal knowledge and thing like the decision of favor me, you see that this wasn't right. Like those moments, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think there's a comment here. Mpoari, Aston Villa deserved credit for the way they started the season, but it's surely a little too soon to be slashing their title odds or considering them as genuine threats for the title. I'm not bitter. I'm not a bitter Liverpool fan. Get that right.
Yeah, no. We didn't, like, we are not disputing that these guys can actually put themselves in the mix. But with what we have noted with the past experience and all that, we are saying that Aston Villa, yeah, we hella more top 10. And I'm not really, I can't say that they will end go one, because like they are shaky. Like if 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 you find that two of the acquisitions, they haven't like been able to make changes or be an impact more gaming, ailing high intensity, like people are sprinting all over. It shows you like these guys, they are vulnerable. Like if you bring something like this, you will easily knock them out, because like so I think you are never be able to. That's the thing that I'm afraid of. And I'm not
Yeah,
saying that but
Zipiri wasn't the fact that Leeds
hey,
put past, I think now it's an eye opener for teams thinking, oh, this is how we can exploit such. I think the same can be said even for Leeds. We saw the first two games how they were playing, and then the third one they were a bit lackluster. And teams now figured how to play around those attacking three guys by Leeds. So I think it's you lose one or two games, similarly, and then moving on to another game that was quite interesting: Everton versus Southampton.
Now we have to talk about Liverpool first before we go to that one, because
Okay.
Liverpool just did. Like I expected that team to knock Liverpool when they scored first. I was like, come on. And like when they scored first, like I was watching the game, and like I was like, yeah, this is the game. Until Liverpool equalized, I was like, ah, damn, Liverpool is gonna win this game. Yeah, and like it shows that Liverpool still has it for a top four team to always come from the back and get the 3 points. It shows that those are the type of um, champion ways of like doing things and getting to the goal of getting that cup. And Liverpool is still in, and they have shown that. And like that's how it is. Like as football fans,
Yeah,
even though we might not be supporting Liverpool and all that, we have to appreciate that they still have that drive to knock. Kind of the most important thing is to not get 3 points from the smaller teams, even when they are threatening, because like the 12th player is not there. So Malazinga 12 players say or teams are becoming shaky and all that. I think it's one of the contributing factors for team was editor. And yeah,
But then
so
looking at the game, yeah, Liverpool, Sheffield. I think having watched it, it was a game of two halves. For a moment, I thought Sheffield were going to maybe sneak something past Liverpool. The first half, I think they played really well. They could have
yeah, they
scored
played
maybe
really well. Yeah.
yeah 2 to 3 goals. But if they had scored those goals, I think it would have really impacted the outcomes. Because we saw second half it was all Liverpool. They had a goal disallowed. Immediately after that, they scored again. It was a game of two halves, and I think
I
with
think
this, yeah, these modern teams, I feel if you play such a team, you need to take your chances because we know,
yeah,
like you
you
said,
need to take
Liverpool,
your chances.
yeah, Liverpool are still title contenders. With everything that's going on at the moment, I would say currently they are the best looking team to retain their title.
Yeah. And hey, Man City in Pelo, but they'll come back. And the big spenders, Chelsea, you would expect that. I mean, they've had high quality material, and that's
Mm.
something exciting about the EPL. You don't have to think that when you acquire a known player who's high flyer, they will make changes. It's hard in
Yeah.
EPL. It's no child's play. You bring up like Arsenal wants to bring the Hatima Aura or something like that, the guy from Lyon. And
Leon, yeah.
I don't wanna lie, yeah, that guy ish. He's dope, but ish. We have seen man, good French players like Bo, Anthony, Marshall, man, a couple of players who are really good who never managed to live to the expectations that are whenever in Batlamu League. And yeah, and then hey, hey man, what for man, hey, team man, imagine spending so much and like you're not winning. And man, highly chose you and get like, but hey man, this it shows that EPL is really competitive.
Mm.
Yeah,
Ke bona o ka re
and
wa- ke bona o ka re wa boela
go
kganya ya Everton. Ya re
nah, Everton, like I didn't expect that, man. Like that was a surprise package, and knowing that Southampton has been like one of the worst teams this season, I didn't
Mm.
even expect Oregaja Everton because Lebon
Yeah.
Banza Bale shaking and Banza Bandena Gorba, but Leba Juagi Timela Zelon Sono Baja. Southampton is one of those teams that the TV lands that you win, like from like Bo 2010 up to now, you know that Southampton e tlo go senyeletsa Arsenal, e tlo go senyeletsa Man U, e tlo go senyeletsa Chelsea. You know those type of teams. So that man. Yeah, one of those teams saying on Rebang, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah,
No, yeah, but Harry
hey,
Level is
man, never
South
tell it's
Africa.
a striker sa rona man. Can I imagine?
No,
Hello?
continue. Yeah.
Can I imagine I think can cat the name, how the Catmon Lewis. I forgot the
Calvin
striker's
Lewis.
name. That guy,
Calvin Lewis.
yeah, Calvin, yeah, that guy has been scoring like week in week out, and this time around, he didn't even have a chance in the 18 area, bro. Like 18 yard, like those guys they closed him out. He didn't even make any attempts. Like no, Southampton is doing this to this guy on Singapore. Lebo Kana he's been like I think he scored game yeah Liverpool yeah the past weekend, the week
Mm.
before, more week 5. And like ish man. Nah, I didn't expect that. I actually thought that no. Wanna mana Everton ya go ja 3 points e go gora leitio ko fantasy le nna be ke nna le di-points, but that didn't happen. I only had 1 point and he gave me ke mo irile captain. Imagine, that's one of the most painful things tse e leng gore di iragetse over this weekend. But yeah, like I was saying,
But
hey, EPL
yeah,
ga se mamam pegorobe, it's not that easier. Like this week, this one wins. Next week, and I don't think we're gonna have the points that they didn't see by the league winner. I think probably it will reach 90, less than 90. I'm expecting less than 90. The way teams are playing now, because teams are tending to like lose, the draw, and all that. And I go game 6 again. And I think the top
yeah, we are
get
in
18 points. And it really shows you gore season e ke dingala. And na gape e nkutlwisa botlhoko because Arsenal was favored when it comes to fixtures this season. You can't have
yeah.
Man City, Liverpool at the start when you are playing away, and at least they're not really, you know, next year because these teams are going to come to your yard. And during that time, they're going to defend. So, yeah.
I think we mentioned Nakwari really Harlebanzi Hale, where you guys were on about how Everton is playing well, Everton is going to win the league, they're going to be in the top four. And I told you guys what Everton hasn't been really tested as a team. Everton haven't played teams that would say, yeah, this is how we can gauge Everton. Everton played against but something like Crystal Palace. They played against West Ham. They played against Brighton. And then they played Liverpool. And then, yes, they played Southampton. And I told them, Everton hasn't been tested. They're playing with low level teams. They're just okay. But give them the top six and let's see then how Everton can play. Because what we are seeing, they haven't been really tested. The fact that they got beaten by a team in number six, it should say something about Everton as a team moving forward.
Nah, I mean, like they've drawn with Liverpool, and like they were a real threat against Liverpool.
That's the only big team they've played.
Nah, like, yeah, it's the only big team that they have played, but it shows that they have that element to like to win it. And if I get a James Rai, so we'll judge them next week, and like we should like, I think I should be there on the show when we talk about it. I'm not even expecting any loss from the next game, game 6 or game 7
Game 7.
fixture. Yeah, it's game 7. Where like they won't lose. I'm expecting either a draw or a win, even though James has it. And yeah, I think there's one team that we've forgotten to talk about. Crystal
Which
Palace
one?
was playing. Crystal Palace was playing, and I think they've won.
Crystal Palace was playing against Fulham.
Yeah, I think they've won.
They played Fulham, and then today it's Spurs versus Burnley, and I forgot the other one. But it's Spurs and Burnley today. So yeah, and then
Moreno is getting his W for this one because those guys they have a good what do you call it? A good attack. You think of Son, you think of the deadly striker. Hurricane. Like whenever they are sorted, I think they're gonna have a good one. It's a W for them.
That's what we said about them last week before Timmy Wapo Marajo 3 goals to equalize.
No. When it comes to they were playing West Ham, right? One thing you should know with London teams, when they play against each other, they always want to show off. And I wish that that same drive they could apply it every time when they play teams outside their city. Because it can go both ways. Had LA London team versus London team. That's one thing you should know.
Yeah.
West Ham in a Arsenal, and like regular team. And then you saw how they played Man City. Like, hey man, West Ham, it's still West Ham that we know. That team is in on top six. Or no,
Yeah.
you it's one of those teams that I feel like we should appreciate because we often support them more or must West Ham major Man City Liverpool. Right, or Man U tle be pagama hala ka tsa tse pedi tsena rona be re ita ke 3 points ha paletse tsele rona la re ka tsora le tsone kana ra dija, you know, like we play those permutations and we use some of these teams already re di tsenya on the mix already di re thuse di team so that we win the league because along with the teams re balance the points and like this is why I feel we should respect West Ham because like it has been that team a causa havoc amongst the top six. And what they did against Tottenham Hotspurs is what they often do to most of the top six teams. And what they actually did, more the top six in Badroile last night, Badroile Man City. So it wasn't a fluke for them to draw against so later that one it was obvious. And then
Yeah.
Tottenham Hotspur I was just saying that one I'm sure. Burnley is not like West Ham. It's not the team that you can bank on or a team unless in any idea or top six team in any injury or some issues like Tsaga Morino le menu players during the time le Pogba because I get ho kana go senya dilo. Players when they don't want to play for the coach, they do whatever so that the coach gets have the contract terminated. So yeah.
But then looking at like the overall league from game 1 up to game 6 at the moment, what would you say maybe has been Karki, your biggest highlight?
Ish. And I would just say that I'm just enjoying the amazingness of the roller coaster EPL. It shows that it's still the EPL that we know. It's not a one or two horse race thing. Teams will just keep on exchanging positions and all that. And yeah, that's the excitement that I'm really enjoying this season. And you know that time when you wish your team could have been sorted with the issues, right now you'll be knocking the teams off because other teams are being it's that type of situation.
And then
and that's how exciting it is.
Yeah, any break or any player that would handpick to say, yeah, this guy has been a marvel to watch since the start of the Premier League. Moving forward, you'd expect to see him even perform a little bit better.
I think the duo of Harrison and Costa, if those guys don't go through the injury, they're gonna push Leeds somewhere. And then Everton James go setile back go marago. He's one of those guys who can like shake things up. Mara hela players that I think that I'm excited to watch this season. Yeah, on Balitsi, especially Harrison le Costa. Hopefully I know it's our team ka January. But yeah.
So those are some of the guys that you'd or that you've been impressed with since
Yeah.
season eight.
Yeah, since season Ekala, like those guys, the way they sprint, the way they enjoy having the ball and going forward. And
Yeah.
then Bawang Bafe. And ish. And then there's one guy, Hatikeman Leitele.
Oof.
Wow, the number 6 guy Mona, who plays more position 6. Well, Liverpool, the new guy Mona from Bayern, Alcantara, right? That's
Thiago.
how you spell it. Thiago.
Yeah.
I'm gonna that was one guy I was excited to see, but I haven't had the chance to see him because like Kenzi ke sa lebelle the game it's Liverpool Kidifa 90
Yeah.
minutes and all that. But yeah, he's one of the new guy Thomas Partey wa ko Arsenal. I've only enjoyed him ko Malaba ile Austria ka Europa League. But all in
Yeah.
all hela Majitake ba litsile le Bamford or like what does he has like is he gonna keep consistent with scoring or it was just a fluke? Those are one of those things that you would look into and look
Mm.
forward to see or I'm a player not consistent. And I think there are a lot of I think there are a lot of players to
I
watch.
don't know how we overlook that.
Yeah. What are you trying to
Arsenal.
talk about?
Kara
Arsenal?
harabia
Eh,
Arsenal.
I don't want to talk about Arsenal because of the atmosphere and like I'm one of those fans who are just not happy with the way board are doing things, especially
Yeah.
with the Ozil issue and how they have failed to acquire creative players, and now they are setting us back. If really they wanted to like be bigger people with this issue, Yara Ozil having such not able to put him on the team list. Yeah, those big competitions, the EPL and the UEFA Europa League. I think they
Yeah.
should have found a creative midfielder, especially the young kid from Lyon, Leba Matsens. But now they didn't do that. It shows that they're just having their own issues and they are not able to handle some of the things that are really important. And that's why I feel like it has lessened my love to look forward to Arsenal games and all that. And I don't want to lie, I wasn't in pain yesterday when we lost. I was like, okay, this should happen because these guys they've brought politics into football, and we know that politics are not allowed in football. Yeah,
Okay. And then the absence here, supporters at the games. How has it impacted your mood as a supporter? How do you think it has affected even the players?
I think we all know that the presence of the 12, that's why they call it a 12 player. Fans, when they are there, it's, it's something that the players recognize and they want to like. The other thing is that I think Modi home games in there are so many supporters against the ones by the team that is being hosted, right? How
Yeah,
would we defending? Home advantage also counts, and like fans are part of the home advantage mix. So if they are not there, that's where you find that teams are easily knocked out by local IP. I'm not saying that it's definitely that teams can be beaten the local IP when fans are there, but those are one of the mixes taken already think like that are really important for home advantage when fans are there, and I think it's something that excites the player to know or like people who are supporting us because fans are one of the revenue streams at the club. And we all know that the revenue has gone down because
yeah,
I want to defend the attendance the game. And like people would pay for the long season tickets and all that, and that was
Yeah.
money. And if you put that whole money together, that's why the team deal like go tshwanetse go bulela. And hopefully ka January we would see that and more of that as ha virus e nyalla, and we'll get to see people going back to the stadiums and all that because it's really
And then,
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, in wrapping up, I'm sure. Are you still maintaining the predictions that you made at the start of the season?
Mhm. Yeah, I still maintain it, my guy. Everton is still going to be part of top six, whether
Mm-hmm.
we like it or we don't. That's how confident I am towards, because like they have a good coach and probably they're gonna rope in few players who are exciting in January. They might even surprise us and have Ozil. These things you will never know, my guy. And I probably think one team in England might end up roping in Ozil. I've heard rumors this I think today when one of the veterans was saying that West Ham should rope in Ozil, and we all know that Ozil likes staying in London. So
London, yeah.
yeah, I think after his contract runs out, he will probably be in England.
Okay. So Everton top four or top six,
Yeah, top
and
six.
then top six, and then who takes number one, two, and three?
Hey man, this one it's too early for us to predict. But a team that has
No,
shown no,
not
a
to
team that
the
has
fact
and
that
no
Everton is top six.
like
Mm,
top six is because it's a wide range. Like they can end up anywhere within that
yeah,
comma. But the team that has shown consistent among the regulars, it's Liverpool. So Liverpool has stand a high chance of retaining the championship. And then Man City that going through a lot. Unless Liverpool gets to be knocked out, then maybe Man City can come and have the league. But all in all, it's Everton, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. I'm not really sure. Man U, they haven't shown that. Chelsea, they still struggling.
Tottenham.
Tottenham, they are not very consistent, but with small teams, though, I think even them they will end. They might just end on top six.
Okay. I'm sure. Let's wrap things up. We normally do this Maidzibua, but this was just an extended version of the lunchtime, the lunch break show. In wrapping up, let me just thank our. I think you've become a resident now. Our resident sports person or sports commentator. So, Mcho, in
Yeah.
closing, yourself a beautiful night, and we'll get to interact again soon.
Thanks, bro, and salute to people who are watching out there, and keep on watching and supporting local. We are here, guys, and if you guys have anything to advise and get to share with us, we are
Yeah,
also open to learning about doing things better in the show. Yeah, and
yeah,
thanks for the opportunity, Mr.
yeah.
Host.
And then Yeah, and then if Total, this is a free platform. Whoever wants to jump in, they can jump in at any time. They can just request to be part of the show, and we can take it from there. Have a conversation about sports. However, a b-ball person come through, UFC come through, so that we have fun and talk about sports.
Yeah, man. And we were
Yeah,
supposed to have an MMA co-commentator because like
yeah.
last, I think this past weekend we watched
The
the
UFC.
great guy UFC, and
Yeah,
he ended up getting to announce that he's retiring. Yeah.
yeah. All right. Sure. Let's call
No
it a night,
problem.
and I'll see you again on the next session.